pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. First thing on our agenda today is a consent agenda. That's simply the minutes of May 10th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, we have a public hearing on the Potawatomi County amendment to the current county budget for fiscal year 2021-22, and discussion decision to improve and authorize the board to sign resolution 40-2022. I'll entertain a motion to go in public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Becky, you call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Supervisor Belt.
Aye.
Supervisor Groby.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Okay, now in a public hearing, anyone wishing to speak either in favor of or opposed to the amendment to this fiscal year's budget? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Aye.
Supervisor Groby.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea. Supervisor Belt.
35.
Okay, Mitch, are you ready on this?
Yeah, I think we got this
By proxy.
handled here.
Okay.
Sure, so on our,
It's kind of an explanation of this amendment. It's pretty easy, but
yep, little rundown here.
That I prepared.
Yep, yeah, Becky did this, so give her credit on this. So what we have for the Veterans Affair, additional $22,500. That's for the relocation grant that we have for them. It was just never budgeted anywhere in this fiscal year, and there's been a couple people that have been able to use it, so we just needed to add that into the budget, so the funds are already there. The conservation, 300,000 of that is going towards park improvements, and then the 33,000 and change is for some additional wages and benefits for a couple new employees. The public health, there's revenue that matches those expenses because they got new grants and they have to spend that grant money before fiscal year end, so you'll even see those revenues exceed those expenses. The planning, we had to increase that because of the 2019 flood buyouts. So that's where that is. You'll actually see the reimbursements more than the expenses there as well. Mental health is the wages for the 5 new employees that were added when they came into the region. And then that 750,000 is kind of estimated of what she's gonna have left in her fund at is that right, Becky, towards the end of the fiscal year end? And that will get transferred into her new fund. So that's just basically
Yes, we have to close out that fund at the end of the year, whatever balance is left in it.
So again, that's why that's gonna be 750. That's just a guess there. And then the 20,000 for the non-departmental is going for public health for part of the capital campaign to raise money for the new building. So.
So,
any questions on any of those?
no, but Becky, you mentioned you had some revenues that you wanted to include with this resolution, is that right?
Since I prepared the budget amendment, we have received a $1,140,320.20 check from the state of Iowa for FEMA reimbursement. So I would like to propose that we add that revenue amount to Department 1 in the amount of $1,104,844, and Planning Department $35,476. We do not have to do a new public hearing on that.
We just been waiting for those.
Exactly, but we did not put them on the amendment until we received them. So now we've received them. While I'm doing this process, I can go ahead and add them in.
Do we need a motion to do that?
I'll probably need a motion to amend the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
To include those revenues she stated.
Correct.
Okay.
They go into 2 different buckets, the revenue, right?
Yes, 1.1 goes into the board's budget and 35,476 goes into planning.
Okay, any questions on the amendment? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now a resolution to approve amendment 40-2022.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion with either Mitch or Becky on that?
No, thank you guys for putting that
No,
together.
The only other question, Becky, what, do we have the timing for if you have to do any more budget amendments? It's not. What is that date? Fall?
We would have to have them done by June 30th, so we're getting pretty much down the
Yeah, but I
wire.
thought you had, for that, if you're gonna post it and stuff, right?
Yeah, you would have to post it the 10 days before.
So June 20th is the last day for,
Mhm.
are we looking at have to do any more amendments?
No, I'm not, no.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Becky, you call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman?
Aye.
Supervisor Belt?
Aye.
Supervisor Grobe?
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz?
Aye.
Supervisor Shea?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our frequent attendee, Grant Anderson. A discussion decision to approve the Cornerstone Commercial Contractors Pay Application Number 11 for the Carson, Macedonia Downtown Rehab Project. Grant, you're up.
Well, good morning. If all goes according to plan, you'll probably see much less of me after this month. But this is the 11th pay application from Cornerstone, and I believe the second to last pay application for the project. It will be done at the end of May. The total pay application amount is $50,860.62. Of that, I would request that $29,499 be paid from CDBG, and then the remaining $21,361.62 be paid by Iowa West cities. So, if the county would consider floating the portion of the CDBG, that would be the ask here in addition to approving this pay application. Otherwise, I believe we can expect one final pay application prior to completion.
I'll make the motion to approve that request, and obviously breaking it out the way you specified.
I'll second.
Second.
So, question for you. So I went out to Carson City Council meeting, their last one they had last week, and there was some concern brought up over, I guess, the sidewalk that goes to one of the buildings as part of all this project. Apparently it's not ADA compliant, and they're looking like that might potentially delay this somewhat. Is that a real thing?
I was at a construction progress meeting last Friday, and I didn't hear anything about that.
Okay.
I think there might be an issue. There was a question of, there was a rail that was taken down,
Yes, that's
and the owner wanted the rail put back, but the architect is advising against doing that because apparently having the rail there after it's been removed is more of a liability than putting it back. I don't really understand the reasoning,
okay.
but that was just the recommendation, that they leave it as is, because at the end of the day, it's more of a liability for the business owner.
Well, I mean, those folks are pretty smart individuals, so I'm gonna ask that you,
Yeah.
if you could just please check into that for us and let us know what that's about, or if that is a problem, because the way it was kind of explained to me, the timeline wouldn't match up with the kind of work that they would have to do to make that ADA compliant.
Okay.
So I just wanna make sure that.
Just to confirm, this was Carson?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll follow up with them and
Okay.
follow up with you. One other thing I'll say, I'm not sure on the amount yet. There was some weatherization work that was needed at the corner building in Carson, the big one that has kind of been part of some of the delays here. I'm not sure on the amount yet. I think another change order might be pending, but I would recommend that whatever that amount amounts to, that just get fully reimbursed by the grant funds. I wouldn't recommend that there be any county assistance or floating of those associated costs. So, with that final pay application, there's likely to be another change order that will be involved, but, again, I'm not sure on the total amount of that, And again, I would just say, let's just finish the project as is and then pay out whatever change order amount just with grant funds and not do any reimbursement.
What will the change order be, you know?
My ballpark estimate that I've received is like 20,000.
For what?
There was an issue having to do some floor work that was somehow, sorry, I'm not a contractor. There was when they had to reconstruct the facade,
Okay,
they needed to tie back some of the flooring
okay.
to make it straight with the curb, not the curb, but the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I can follow up with you on some more detail on that, but
Okay.
yeah, sorry, I'm just not.
Gives me an idea of what it is,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, any other questions for Grant?
No?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, John Rasmussen.
Thank you.
Discussion decision to approve value engineering changes to the road office building.
Sure.
If you guys would recall, we talked about this last weekend.
Yes.
We wanted some time to think about it. Now we're at that point where we can give some direction.
Email these to me, they're a lot easier.
The engineer on which way the board decides they want to go with the recommendation of Mike Bonnet and John Rasmussen.
Sure, so we have the design team back on this. You guys asked for a site plan and floor plan, and that was in your packet. You can pull it up there, for everybody in the room can see it, I guess. So
Is it the site plan one?
yes. Then I don't know if I'd let you guys take it away. I don't know if you tabulated what we went through last time, or where we go from. I just remember the questions being the layout. At one time, this building was over here, and I think Scott had asked about that. Through the design, it was, wow, that's deeper now. So through the design, there was less parking lot to rearrange them that way, so it was kind of a cost savings that way. So that building moved up there kind of early on in the design process. There's two slides afterwards, which are the floor plans of the buildings, which are really hard to read. I thought they'd be blown up larger, but that's also in your packet.
So I think last time there was
Speak
some
up,
discussion of, sorry, I think last time there was some discussion with like the drains, whether or not they were going to, the roof drains would go just to grade, or if we were gonna keep them to go below
Seemed
grade.
like it was 100 and some thousand,
Yeah.
112.
Which number that was?
It was 26
112.
for the office, or that's to reduce it down.
Yeah, the drainage system in general was 112. And then we talked about some mechanical changes, the exterior skin of the building. With the mechanical changes, obviously, then that reduces the overall height and roof lines of that office building. They become much more simplified, so.
When you say more simplified, what would we do?
It would all be the same elevation all the way across. Before, we had to bump up just that middle section, just to get that mezzanine in there. So now that mezzanine, all that structure, everything comes out, and now we can simplify that roof line to all one elevation.
Okay.
So is there something different we could do with the gutters then, or?
No, the two options are basically down on grade for all of them, or we can do a portion of them around the man doors. The ones on the back side of on the west side of the office building, we can obviously dump those to grade no matter what. I think the biggest concern is probably around the main doors at the office building, and then, with the vehicle storage or the maintenance building, if it's just around the main entrance or around some of the man doors, or is it just the, again, the west side of the maintenance bay?
Is there green space between the parking stalls and the building?
No. You go to this.
The office building.
The site plan.
One more.
There's sidewalk that, I don't know if you can see.
Well, like the drain's going to cement or is going to grass?
It's going to cement. We would put splash blocks, obviously, but it'd be,
Okay.
So can that be added as, an add-on to the bid? If that, when it goes out for bid,
we could do it as an alternate.
you know? 'Cause I think that's probably, it's gonna be more expensive down the road to do those things. I've been part of this value engineering before on another big building project in town here. At the end of the day, it's not the best thing. Yeah.
Well, I think this was my personal opinion, for $112,000, I think we dropped the water right on the splash pad. I mean, we don't have to deal with that. How many times a year? Less than a dozen, less than 10, 5 to 6.
I don't have anything with underground drainage now, so it's
Yeah.
nothing new to us, I guess.
Yeah, but you also don't have water dumping right outside your doors, do you? They're going off the sides of your buildings.
Oh, yeah, we have gutters coming down. Several of our buildings that go out.
I mean, disrespectfully, I disagree with that statement because one incident, one of your guys walks out of the building, slips on ice and hurts his back, we're paying more than $112,000. So I don't know. And where I work, HGM, you guys designed our building and we had the same exact issue down there. And we had to pay a lot of money to reroute all of our gutters to go the right way, so we didn't have that issue. And it was a huge issue. So I just think if we're gonna do it right once and not mess with it later.
Can you come up with something different?
I mean, I agree with the west side, and who cares, no one's gonna be walking there, but
Yeah.
But you're gonna have delivery people and probably other people come out there too, besides our own. That's gonna run, and I don't know how the water's gonna run, but freeze and thaw are the worst.
I'm fine with going underground. We were just trying to reduce the cost so we could get the project built to begin with.
I just don't wanna do it in the name of safety, you know, so if there's a safety issue, there really isn't a price tag on that when it comes to that.
I prefer them to be underground, I guess.
All right, we can do that as an alternate, I guess, if that's what the board wants to do. Mike and John, you guys have looked at this list. Is there anything in there that you think needs to be part of the project that has been removed?
No, I don't think so. I think we kind of preserved the things that we needed to preserve, and yeah, these were the ones we're willing to give up.
What about the only one I have a question about is the, security system. You okay with that?
With the what, Tim?
Security system.
I'd rather have the swipes and the cameras, but that's gonna just be something we add, you know, it's a year down the road or something like that. The boxes and the wires will be there, right?
Yeah, all the rough-in will be there.
The rough-in will be there, it's just something we have to add in, which was gonna be another sub on this project, but we'll just bring them in later, I guess.
Are you gonna fence this area off too?
Wasn't planning on fencing it.
You are or not?
I was not. Fences haven't stopped anybody for us yet, I guess.
So not even the entry, you won't shut at night then?
No.
So somebody can drive in there and,
Yeah, that was kind of the point of having the cameras system, was so we could monitor the site and record when it went on, but
well, I think that probably should be at least an alternate, I would say that, I mean, it's pretty, I don't know what kind of lighting, you're gonna have it all lit up, are you, at night?
I don't know what the new lighting standards are.
I don't know if
Well,
we can.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have some site lighting, but I could try to get more, shine more light on that, so to speak.
It sits back far enough off the road. Can't have too much lighting, I'm sure the neighbors out there are probably.
What about a gate?
That's what he
What
said.
about a programmable gate? Because obviously you gotta have it so the workers can get in there in the middle of the night when we have snow or emergencies.
Just fence the top of that driveway so the train keeps the rest of it.
I agree with that, but like in the driveway.
We can add it. I've been deleting things, not adding
I
things.
know you have, John, and I appreciate what you're doing. I really do.
You guys have flipped the script on me.
Something to help alleviate the drive-ins.
And a lot of the stuff that's gonna be done with the subcontractor, I think we can contract and do it later, I guess. So that's kinda why I was pulling those things out.
Okay.
I mean, if the rough end's done for the security stuff, then, there's gonna be a sub, and the contractor's gonna have a markup on that sub, so, I mean, I didn't think it was too bad to try to bring those back in later, but
Okay.
I just don't know how much later, I guess.
Get the bridge crew out there and build a fence, or build a gate. They'd love that, huh?
So you are planning to gate it or not?
No, I was not planning on gating it.
Okay.
Maybe we have an alternate on the gate.
Fence or something, I don't know.
What's that?
I just don't like it just being wide open like that. I mean, even your sign shop's got a fence around it, or did at one point.
Yeah, but John's right, there's.
It hasn't done anything for us. We had our catalytic converters stole off at the sign shop, and our central shop's been broke into several times too, so I don't know that fence has stopped anybody for us yet. Keeps honest people honest is about all it does.
But at least the gate would,
Make it a little more difficult, yes.
there you go. They'd have to walk in and possibly be seen.
It's a long walk.
It is, it's a long drive, isn't it?
Just something for the board to consider, if we wanna move forward with just the cabling on this. We have about $350,000 for the computer equipment, switches, servers and stuff that we need to find funding for. Maybe we can throw the cameras in on that. Okay, is there anything on your mind that you think we're missing by deleting? John, is there anything else you can see in here that we're missing?
No, I kind of disappointed. We went backwards on the heating and ventilation, but, we kind of picked a package that would, give us the best efficiencies, and I think we're fine, I think, we're still doing pretty good, but that was pretty much my biggest concerns. I didn't want to build an obsolete building that's too small, and I didn't really want to give up too much efficiency of the.
Kim, is there any of these things that are being removed concerning to you?
No, we just walking through everything with John a few times, just to make sure that we're not taking away from the function of the building is the most important, so.
So then it's your recommendation to move forward with these cuts and add an alternate as for the downspouts?
I believe so.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I'd like to see at least some sort of security alternate and probably some kind of gate or on the project. Either they're not part of it or be the alternate or something.
I'm with you. I'd like to see some kind of a gate.
So
I
as
think
far
they're
as,
far enough back, I really do. I don't think a fence will help much, but if they pull up on that drive and have to park clear out by the street.
those separable items though, is it okay if we just do those and leave them off the contract? Because, I mean, a gate's gonna be a different sub or a different contractor, and it's
I'm okay.
a project in itself, but like the downspouts needs to be done with the building, because before you pave the parking lot, you gotta get the drains in, so maybe
What was the security package again? I'm sorry. We deleted, I don't have that shit, Michelle, 50.
It was at 50.
so that was swipe cards and cameras.
We can, once this project comes in and we decide that we want to move forward with it, we can get our IT team on this and
Yeah.
get that taken care of in Jason's Slack.
So all the conduits there, the wires are not there, but it's just basically roughed in so that if you wanna run them, it's easy. Is that what you're saying?
So are we considering, I don't know, I hate to say bid three ways, but is it getting bid as a full package and then as individual buildings also, or not?
So we had talked about it'll be bid as a full package, but the office building would be bid as an alternate.
Okay. So the office building would be billed as the alternate. Yeah. Okay.
So today you just want an approval for the changes for the engineering?
And
I'll make that
through our discussion, an alternate on the downspouts.
correct. And we'll figure IT out. Okay, I'll make that motion.
If that's okay with everybody else. I think we can make this work.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Lynn.
We gotta, when will this go out for bid?
I think it'll take us maybe 60 days, a couple months to put everything back together, so we should be done with drawings.
Okay.
Well, I'd like for it to go out to bid when everybody's looking for work.
Pretty soon.
Starting to get hungry.
Is there any other discussion for Mike, John, HCM team, or ETI?
Well, it's just a tough market. I mean, it is what it is. Materials and labor and the whole thing.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. There you go, you have your direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we still have John, discussion on the Pine Terrace Highway 92 traffic study, Lewis Township Volunteer Fire Department. John, you're up.
All right, so in your packet, there's a copy of the study from FHU here in town. And again, that's almost too small to see. Sorry, I'm trying to put it up there so you can see it, but it's not working.
Is it at
So,
5?
you want to put it in slideshow mode though, maybe?
Yeah, I forget my mouse today, that didn't help either.
F5.
There you go. Oh, we got a professional presenter back there somewhere. Anyway, so we had FHU review the situation again there for stoplights at Highway 92. A lot of the reports is kind of background stuff. The second page, we kind of start getting into the data collection. One thing they did note on this one was some trees obstructing the view. I don't think we caught that in the first one. So we're on page 3 now, they're up there. Signals warrant 1 and 2 were not satisfied, so go back a page, can you? So signal warrants 1 and 2 were not satisfied, so a full setup of traffic signals was not needed according to the uniform traffic control devices. They went through some of the stop times. 15 to 25 seconds was what they were measuring for people trying to get through the intersection in the stop condition. They did some work on the speeds. I think they came up with the 85th percentile to be 55 miles per hour. It's posted at 50. 85th percentile is where you should have your posting, so it's just a hair faster than what the posting is. Some of the sight distance isn't exactly right, so there was a recommendation just to leave the speed where it was instead of raising it, which we can probably all agree on that. So if you go to page 4, they give a list of recommendations. Again, the traffic signals are not warranted. There is an emergency vehicle signal that may be installed, and it passed the warrants for that. So that's a may. It doesn't mean you have to, but you may. So
What is that, John? Is that like?
So that's gonna be, if you notice out there, I think during the study, they realized they didn't have a advanced warning sign for eastbound traffic. So the DOT installed a warning sign there.
Just recently?
Yeah, just recently. So what this would do would just add some yellow lights, flashing lights on top of that. That could be activated by the fire department.
I think that's literally all they want.
Sure,
All
so,
they've been asking for.
That's the $55,000 deal.
You're reading ahead. Yeah,
Sorry, John. Sorry.
that's the $55,000 option. There's a overhead mount thing with signals, and that's about $375. So there's kind of two different options how you went with that, but yes, Brian, for about $55,000, you put the flashing lights on that warning sign, and have the volunteer fire department could trip that. Since Brian got ahead of me,
I threw you way off.
yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
So now we're on the beginning of page 5, so one more slide down. There was, again, the two trees, they kind of block the intersection sight distance, and those were a concern too, and those look to be on the DOT right away, but eastbound traffic really can't see the trucks well, you know, and the westbound can, so there's probably some explanation to why the yields aren't happening.
John, you've talked to them before about these trees, correct?
Yeah, I was a concern originally as well.
What is the reasoning why they don't want to take them down?
Good looking trees, I guess, but
Okay,
I mean,
without a doubt. They're-
safety of trees, I guess I have to make that decision at some point, but.
I just feel like we could probably negotiate something simple. I mean, maybe conservation can help us get some trees to replace them with something that is shorter, that we can get rid of the big massive tree that's in the way and put a couple smaller ones there, still make it look good. And then, you know, this light, I mean, you all know my opinion on this. I mean, this to me is absolutely necessary, and I grew up out that way, and I think regardless of what the study would tell me, I'm still gonna believe that the light should be there of some kind to warn people.
I've been out there several times when emergency vehicles come. Something's needed.
I mean, earlier tonight, I drive my daughter to the dance studio that's right on the top of that hill, and I did the same thing every time. And you
So-
see these near misses that are never reported.
The kind of lights they want to put up for the 55,000 on the sign, what's that?
It's just gonna be a flashing yellow light on top of that sign.
1 or 2?
I don't know if it's 2, did you catch that? I was hoping he was gonna give us a standard, I mean, they can do the design on the thing, and I thought we'd get maybe a picture of it, but, it is a more substantial post, I guess, cause you have a battery pack and a solar thing, and I think the sign and the posts, everything kinda needs redone
Okay.
on that, but.
So John, you know on Canesville, you're driven on Canesville, like you're leaving town going out towards, you know, Baumgars or whatever.
Right.
And right there by Fairway, there's a blinky light that turns on when the light's about to turn red.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming it's
It'd be something
like
similar to
that.
that, yeah.
I think that's all they've been asking for years, something like that. And this would be the case where they would be the ones to activate that light when pulling out, correct? I mean,
Well, if we can get them to cut some trees and do this,
yeah, we can work with them on the trees.
that sure may help them.
Well, have they seen this?
You know, I was kinda late getting it to them, so I just wanted to maybe give it to you guys, then circle back and we could have another
They
discussion
have
with them.
gotten it.
I just sent it today. I thought I sent it last week when I sent it to you guys, and I didn't, so.
So is there monies for, will this help with the DOT for safety or not?
I'll have to, so when I ran this originally, I was trying to do a light set, and we couldn't get the benefit cost ratio to work, but the cost also came down, you know, they came from 375 to 55, so I don't know what that's gonna do to my cost benefit ratio, but it may qualify. I need like a 4 to win competitive money, and I don't know if we're there yet or not.
Okay, so the 375 option, then you wouldn't do the $55,000 option.
Right, so the 375 would be like the thing on Broadway where they have the lights for that crossing at 20, whatever.
27th Street.
27,
Yeah, it'd be something similar to that.
but it flashes all the time, you know,
Yellow and then goes to red when they come out.
right, but I mean,
Yeah.
it just flashes yellow.
If your light set's off, then traffic's supposed to stop, so it has to do something, I guess, why it's, you know, the overhead light has to do something.
Right, okay.
That's kind of the options and where that report went, so.
I feel like the $55,000 option's a step in the right direction, and then we reassess it after a few years or whatever, and see how we think.
That was a recommendation too. If these changes didn't fix the situation, then it just needs to be looked at again.
So is that something you have to coordinate through the DOT then?
It does take coordination with the DOT refuses to pay for it, so I guess we still don't know
Okay,
who pays for it and who becomes the eventual owner to maintain it either, so.
So can you get a picture or something of what it is, what the light is?
Yeah, I'll have to develop something to apply for a grant. I can
All right,
take this back to grant again, but still at some point, you gotta figure out who owns it. Tri-Center Schools has a flashy sign and they reduce speed, schools letting out, and the school owns that sign on Railroad Highway.
oh, okay.
Well, it's 191 up there, it's still a state
Yeah.
highway at that point, but, so that's the only other real similar situation we have in the county.
Okay. I'd like to talk to that gentleman, he's been anxious.
Al?
I got his number, I'll call him.
Yeah, I just sent it to him this morning. I thought I caught him last week when I sent the agenda and I didn't, so.
Okay.
They probably haven't had too much time to digest it yet.
Okay.
So when will you have an idea, John, on the funding part of it for, grant side?
I think that deadline's either August or October 1st. I can't remember which one that one is, but it'll be later this summer again.
Will you come back with more info soon?
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to sign that as owner, so I don't know who owns this thing
Okay.
still, but
Owns it in what sense, I guess?
do I?
You said owns it in what sense?
Pay for the installation and the maintenance, so it'll be on DOT right away, but the DOT refuses to own it, so if the lights quit working or if you need something done,
So do we have to make an agreement with them then?
yes, we'd have to have an agreement to have it out there.
Is our secondary roads able to do this okay?
I really don't wanna do
I'll
work on
ask
state road.
Mike. I'll ask Mike.
Careful how you answer, Mike.
You have to replace a bulb every once in a while, maybe a battery.
Probably LED now.
So who's doing,
On
who do you
solar.
supposed to doing the one out there on Tri-Center?
The schools did that one, cause I asked about that one too, cause I thought the DOT did it, and I said, well, if you did it at the schools, why wouldn't you do it here?
So the school's maintaining that one?
Huh.
Fire department maintained it.
Oh.
So, but there must be an agreement, there must be a document that the DOT has, an agreement that we're gonna have to,
Yeah, they'll just give permission to occupy the right of way, so, yeah,
because, the lights further out at, Eastern Hills Drive or whatever,
Yeah.
must be an agreement with the city there with those lights, I would say.
they're running them, I don't know, I mean, those agreements were probably 2000 probably, I guess, I don't know when all that started as far as that project, but.
Yeah, I don't think they originally planned on putting lights there. Originally, but
Okay,
There's a lot
so
of traffic there.
you'll get back to us on this, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
How
for
about
getting
next
us
week?
this far.
As soon as you can.
Okay.
I mean, there's some agreements that need to be made with the state. We may have an agreement with Lewis Township Fire Department. I mean, there's things that we need to move forward with. I think the cost is getting down there where it might be affordable for, not necessarily affordable, might be doable, for the volunteer fire department too. I don't have a problem helping out on some of that. The ongoing maintenance and stuff, that is probably, in my opinion, needs to be a contract with, volunteer fire department needs to take care of the maintenance side of things. That would be my guess, but.
Because if the school does it up there at Tri-Center,
I don't do that either, no.
it kind of seems like it'd move right to the fire department.
Yeah, I don't think
Maybe
the
we do a
ongoing
little
maintenance is gonna be all that tough,
Okay.
but it's not like
Okay.
you're gonna do the work yourself, it'd
Okay.
probably last
Is there
forever.
some other piece we're missing with, is there whatever electronic piece that goes in the vehicles or something that has to be?
There's some sort of activation, but I think that's an overhead light. There'll just have to be something in the shed where they push the button or have a door opener in the vehicles or something. I think it'll take a button.
Okay.
I think they're gonna check into see if the Wi-Fi actually reached that far. Or if we'd have to get some radio microwave thing to project or what we had to do to trip that, but
Oh, yeah, well, we just need to get all those,
yeah, but if the Wi-Fi reached, that would be a pretty darn cheap alternative.
right, well, we just need to know all the potentials, I guess, on.
Yeah, I just wanted to get you updated how that was developing, so that's where we are with that one
For
now.
doing that, John.
John, you're still up the, Wabash Pioneer Trail Traffic Study.
Did you vote on this?
There's no. Press discussion.
He's gonna come back with some.
Oh, was it on the script, was it? Yeah.
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 Okay, discussion only, thank you, sorry.
So on Wabash, we had a traffic study, was it 2017, Mike, or a safety study. We continue to have some accident history there, plus the concern of building this new subdivisions out in Pioneer Trail. They shot out a number what that was gonna increase our traffic, and do you remember what that was, at 4,000 vehicles a day?
Yeah.
Additional traffic out there.
How many?
4,000 a day is what their estimate, shooting from the hip on that one. So we have 6,500 vehicles a day in that intersection now, and we are struggling, so 4,000 is definitely a concern. So we had that. We do have a high crash history. The state right average is 7/10 crash per million vehicles. We're at 1.095, so we have a crash history such that we should be able to get funding for this thing to do some improvements on the intersection. Going through the same warrants again, the signal warrant 1 and 2 and 7 were not satisfied, so signalization was not recommended. Always stop was not recommended either, based on the minimum traffic values coming off the side roads. The one warrant we did have is a southbound left turn lane was warranted there at Wabash and Pioneer. So a southbound left turn lane. So we looked at auxiliary right turns for the northbound. That was not warranted either. Then looking at a 2-lane approach coming in from the east on Pioneer, that was not warranted either. So on this one, the final recommendation obviously was not traffic signals. Came down to a southbound left turn lane, and they wanted 150 feet of storage and a 10-to-1 taper. So each foot width of the lane is 10 foot longer that we have to taper the traffic out. So we're about 300 feet there to get a lane built.
So how many vehicles would that allow to stack?
That was gonna give us a storage, I thought I saw that somewhere. Well, 150 feet, we're
So they,
3 to 5 probably.
are they assuming they're all, well, I guess, car or stackage there, or?
They just kind of give us storage length at 150 feet. They didn't really get into vehicle type as far as what could be there.
There's a lot of semis that run, I mean, there's people that have semi businesses that seem to be running up and down that road there. I mean, that lane is gonna help a bunch, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, the concerns we have, we have a bike trail going underground, a culvert there that's likely gonna have to be extended, and we might even be in that bridge to the south.
Is that right?
Depending how it plays out, I guess. I mean, there's some design work to be done. Definitely on the bike trail. I don't know if we'll get into that bridge or not.
Yeah.
10-to-1 taper, we'll taper back in. We'll be about 140 feet or so. Yeah. We'll be getting close to that bridge.
I was wondering about that.
They also suggested a side road warning sign. So placing a sign warning of the intersection, like a be prepared to stop or something along that line. So as drivers are going down there and there's a queue there now, maybe that'd be a temporary solution, but I guess they'd have to read the signs and say the taillights on that one. There was a recommendation for additional intersection lighting. Most of the accidents have occurred at night. Well, 5 of the 13, I guess that's not most, but majority of them, or a good piece of them. So that was the recommendations on on that intersection. So I think we're gonna look at a left turn lane and alternatively even a roundabout, unless you guys don't wanna do a roundabout, but I know, you guys hate roundabouts, but there's a real problem coming in town from the south. They need to slow down before they get to all those houses with the shared drives, and they're all getting onto Wabash. There really is a change from a rural section to an urban section of road there that The best thing about the roundabout is to get everybody's attention before they got into that.
It's because no one knows what they're doing. They pull up on it, like, oh, what is this? And they have to slow down, so.
I think people are getting more and more used to them now.
Yeah, we just
And
only
it
have,
does
what,
slow
one-
people
we
down
have
a
one
lot.
around here, is that right? Just off of.
It's rather enjoyable though if you go out there, it's kind of fun. But yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work for trucks.
I worry about the corn trucks and bean trucks and dirt trucks and all that going down there, that's kinda, there's a lot. So unless we pave 292nd Street, like for real, I'm really cautious to even think about doing a roundabout.
Yeah,
292nd or 100?
192nd.
Yeah, okay.
So the, did I say 200?
Yeah.
192nd, so going by the Armstrong development there, so they at least have an avenue to route trucks. But, cause you got, you know, you think about the plants that are down there, in between the soybean processing and then all the, you know, there's
Yeah.
a handful of other, you know.
I'll get them running on H12 into Mills County if I do it right.
This,
I like it.
this one didn't come up with any, estimated numbers on what this would.
No, I asked them for estimates on this other one specifically. This one here, we're gonna have to do a little work on the bridge and the culvert and everything else to see how that geometry lays out. So it's probably really just comes down to if we have to get into widening a bridge or not.
So John, do you think this will impact Woodland Trail then too, a little bit further down, and even Overland Trail for that matter? So Overland obviously comes before, you know, Pioneer, but, you know, that's, I'm starting to think, if we're increasing 4,000 cars, those same 4,000 for sure are gonna be going by Overland Trail. You know? I don't know, I hope we're
Yeah.
not creating ourselves a,
No, we definitely have a,
If they're going north, why would they turn on Overland?
I'm not, what I'm saying is the same dilemma that we have here with traffic going onto that intersection. The accidents are happening on that intersection, the same accidents would happen a mile up the road.
yeah, if they're making that left turn.
4,000 more vehicles traveling on it.
John, are you for a roundabout there? I mean, just asking your opinion.
I would like to look at it, I guess. I don't really know exactly yet, but if you don't want one, we won't even look at it, that's fine, but,
No, you're the engineer. I'm just the
I haven't
guy
even
driving
built
down
one, so.
there.
I haven't built one. The truck traffic is kind of concerning there, I guess.
It is.
But then again, like, do we really, I'm not trying to, problem is that on Overland Trail and down Pioneer Trail, there are farmers that use that intersection, so we gotta be considerate of that. But then you gotta think about where is the edge of town, and do we really want those kind of trucks going by the school, you know, and I know that's not necessarily, it's kind of quasi-school versus county problem, but, and city really for that matter, but I just think that, I think you should look at it, see what you come up with, but then again, we need to come up with some good alternatives for these grain trucks and everyone else that lives out there.
Yeah, it's kind of a different world there north as far as, you know, there's houses all along the road and they're pulling out and they're making left turns and right turns and.
I mean, you got Easton's, Dolphins, SARS, all right up on Pioneer Trail that all have big trucks that are driving on that road all the time, you know?
What is that, 50 mile an hour?
Yeah, is it 55 in there?
There's a 55.
I think we're 55.
55.
It's
Okay.
55.
I was thinking if it
I don't know where it comes down at.
I mean, traffic goes 70, if you really wanna be honest about it, but it's
Oh,
55.
yeah.
changed just south
They
of
do.
Well, you get a lot of whatever I'd call young drivers.
So John, the other alternative, something to think about, you know, let's just say we went down this route of roundabout. You got, I think it's called Bluebird Lane, I think is the other one that comes off Pioneer that connects back up to Woodland Trail, or, Wabash. Whatever, that thing is like 5 names, you know, 275, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So down there where the old barber shop used to be. So you go down, go past the bridge, and then on your left side, there's a house, kind of have some horses and stuff, and there's another gravel road that comes out right there. That might be another good alternative to consider. If you're gonna do some sort of roundabout, that road definitely should be paved, so you can get grain trucks going south. I shouldn't just say grain, there's a lot of other guys, but that might be another thing you think about, seal coated or whatever.
We'll fix that curve.
I just feel like reasonable expensive now.
for trucks, yeah.
I think if you can put together a cost for that turn lane there at Pioneer Trail.
Yeah, I think that's probably one we're gonna work on getting a safety grant, or competitive grant for that one. I think it'll score well. I just wanted, did you guys see that study as well?
Well, thanks for getting the light. I know you worked that light situation out down there too. That was.
Now I gotta read,
Huge
they
step.
recommend I redo it.
Hey, it was still a huge step in the right direction. Those folks were asking for that a long time, so it's good.
Well, we're still in the process on that one, and hopefully something can get done in the next 6 months to a year. John, last thing you have up there is a quitclaim deed to Pheno Farms for a 10-foot parcel from the Caledonia shop parcel. Want to explain that just a little bit?
Actually, this is Mike's items.
Okay, Mike.
You guys been using them, but this is the item he came for. Well, are you all familiar with the Caledonia shop there on
Yes.
92? That was acquired in two pieces. The first shop originated on the east half of that, was purchased in 1947. I'll reference the Bates parcel to the west that then fronts our county road, was purchased in 1975. So with the closing of this shop and sale of the property, back in 75 when it was purchased, there was some history there in our files when Mr. Hales was county engineer. When they went out to set the pins, that west parcel ended up 10 feet north of the north line of the east parcel. So when they went to put pins out in the field, the tenant to the farm claimed, "You're out in my cornfield," and put a stop to things. So there was several meetings here that were notated in the file. They met with the landowner, the tenant, a realtor. They all discussed this 10-foot strip. And what it kind of came down to, they even drafted a rough description for a quitclaim deed back in 75. And what it came down to was Mr. Hales wrote on this warranty deed as the county took it, see remainder of the file in which the 10-foot north side is contested by adjoining farmer. We will fence out the 10 feet and thus have a straight line on the north side of both parcels. Also, we will further not antagonize the neighbor. So they ended up taking the north line of the east parcel and just projecting it west, and they let the landowner continue to farm that 10-foot strip. So fast forward to today, and since that problem never was resolved in 75, we're here today to try to get it resolved. And I guess what we're looking to do is just quitclaim the 10-foot strip to the landowner to the north there, and then the remainder would be our Caledonia
So
boundary.
I'm in favor of doing this. I went out there and looked at it. That blue line should be back to the gold line.
Yes,
correct?
yeah,
And
it would, yeah,
our
it will be.
surveyor, whoever it was, messed up. Clear back then, or?
I don't know
Or is
that it
that
was,
the original
that
description?
was the original description, yeah.
Okay. Motion approved.
Second,
So
get that out of the way.
so the lot, it's not a square parcel,
Will be.
no? 'cause
Well, we
down
have-
on the
we
south
have-
end, it's not.
The state, yeah, that's state right away taking for 92, so,
But then
the-
the second parcel over, the state's not taking any.
well, they did, but back in 47, that's how it was originally described before
Okay.
the right of way. So our survey will reflect the 92 right of way, excluding that, yes.
You're going to put together the deed, or is our legal team gonna do that?
What did you get your approval before she drafted Yeah. the deed, so.
Okay.
The
Does the
motion.
Singh family still own it?
The Smith family, I believe, was the owners of that all this time, and I believe that just changed to Pheno Farms.
LLC, and I guess I'm not sure if there's still a connection, family connection there or not.
Any other questions for Mike or John on this? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, thanks, Mike, for your work on that.
Thank you.
All the other ones, you don't have any issues with any of the other shops or?
Well, we're working out the Hancock. That one's still with the, whether we grant them an easement or we change that boundary on the south side of the existing shop property.
That's a difficult one. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the rest of them look pretty clean.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, we are now going to move on forward with the public comment part of our meeting. Read the board will now allow up to 30 minutes for comments from the public. Call speakers to the podium in the order in which they have signed up on the form provided. Each speaker is limited to no more than 2 minutes for speaking, must speak from the podium, and must first state his or her name and address for the record. Comments should be directed to the board as a whole and should refrain from personal attacks or from addressing individual employees or citizens. Comments should also be limited to one topic. Detailed information about the public comment policy is available upon request. I'm gonna guess